Christopher Columbus and the Discovery of America. Christopher Columbus was born in 1451 in Genoa and died in Valladolid, Castilla in 1506, without realizing that he had discovered a new continent. He was a navigator, cartographer, admiral, and discoverer of the New World, where he governed as Viceroy and Governor-General of the West Indies in the service of the Crown of Castilla. The life of Columbus throws up certain enigmas, including his birthplace and where his remains were laid to rest. But it is known that he was the son of Domenico Columbus, a Genoese textile manufacturer, and he spent his youth sailing up and down the coast of what was then the Republic of Genoa, looking after his father's business. Later he worked as a trader, buying sugar, and he sailed the Atlantic Ocean, getting as far as Guinea. In 1484, at the age of 33, Columbus had completed his project for the Big Voyage and was in a position to present it to the main European royal courts. Unlike the route that had been followed by the Portuguese navigator Vasco da Gama, sailing along the coast of Africa and round the Cape of Good Hope, his navigation plan consisted in accepting the idea that the Earth was round, and after a voyage in the Atlantic Ocean heading west, one would arrive in the East Indies, known as the Spice Islands. The Genoese navigator went to live in Portugal, which was the big center of maritime trade. There he got married to Felipe Moniz in 1479, with whom he had a son, Diego. His wife, who came from the Portuguese aristocracy, opened doors for him to contacts in the court and to present his navigation project to Juan II of Portugal. The Portuguese monarch didn't reject Columbus but delayed his decision, possibly with the idea of eliciting information about his itinerary. Faced with the lack of a firm answer from the Portuguese crown, Columbus decided to try the Kingdom of Castilla. He settled in Palos de la Frontera in the province of Huelva, where he contacted the friars in the monastery of Rábida, who supported his project and recommended Brother Hernando de la Talavera, confessor of Queen Isabel of Castilla, with whom he had an interview and managed to interest in the project. During this time he met the Cordovan woman Beatriz Enriquez de Arana, with whom he would have another son, Hernando. In 1492, having assumed the kingdom of Nazari of Granada, the Catholic kings decided to fund Columbus's project with the financial support of Luis de Santangel, a loan shark who financed Fernando el Católico. In the district of Santa Fe, on the outskirts of Granada, the Capitulations of Santa Fe were signed, in which the conditions of the expedition were established and Columbus was granted extensive privileges as long as he succeeded in discovering new lands. He was granted the titles of Admiral, Viceroy, and Governor-General of all the territories that he discovered or conquered during his lifetime. They also recognized his right to claim a 10th part of any business carried out in the conquered territories. Once the agreement had been reached with the Catholic kings, Columbus undertook 4 voyages to America, establishing a regular and safe navigation route between Castilla and America. For the first voyage, with the support of the Pinzon brothers, he managed to put together a crew that on the 3rd of August 1492 set sail from Palos de la Frontera with 3 ships, the caravels called the Pinta and the Niña, and the carrack called the Santa Maria, stopping off at the Canary Islands in order to reach what they thought were the Indies. After dealing with many setbacks, on the 12th of October 1492, the day of the Virgin of Pilar, they reached dry land, or what today is called the Bahamas. On this first voyage, Columbus explored several Caribbean islands and established a settlement in what is today the Dominican Republic, which he named La Española. In January, he returned to Spain. On the second voyage, which lasted nearly 3 years, from September 1493 until June 1496, Columbus sailed from the port of Cadiz with 5 carracks and 12 caravels. He sailed around the Caribbean, discovering the Lesser Antilles, Dominica and Guadalupe. Afterwards, he explored Cuba, arriving in La Habana and later sailing south, discovering Jamaica. During this second voyage, certain discrepancies appeared between Columbus, who preferred to dominate through military force those territories he discovered, with the basic aim of doing business, and the model of the Catholic kings of occupying the lands to carry out a cultural colonization and to preach the Catholic faith. On the third voyage, he set sail from Sanlúcar de Barrameda with 6 ships, and it lasted 2 years from 1498 to 1500. Columbus discovered the island of Trinidad, and for the first time set foot on dry land on the American continent, at the mouth of the Orinoco River, in what is nowadays the coast of Venezuela. During this third voyage, on the island of Española, Columbus and his brothers were accused of poor governance and abuses of power by contravening the legal requirements of the Queen and not treating the indigenous people as subjects of their kingdom, for which they would be arrested and returned to Castilla by Francisco de Bobadilla, acting for the Catholic kings. As a consequence of this conflict, the Catholic kings terminated the Capitulations of Santa Fe, in which Columbus's rights to the discovered territories were recognized. In 1502, Columbus returned for the 4th time to America with 4 ships, and accompanied by his brother Bartolome and his son Hernando. Columbus set sail from Seville, and the voyage took 2 years, lasting until 1504, during which he explored the coasts of Central America, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. The Crown allowed him to return to navigation in order to find a passage between the discovered lands and Asia, something that he never managed to do. On his return to Spain, Columbus was already seriously sick, and he tried unsuccessfully to recover his rights through negotiations with Fernando el Católico, as Queen Isabel had already died. Columbus died in Valladolid in 1506, and once more mystery appeared in his life, as it is unclear whether his remains repose in Spain, in the Cathedral of Sevilla, or in America, in the Cathedral of Santo Domingo.